It has gotten to the point where people can't afford to buy essential food items as the cost of groceries and essentials have skyrocketed in the past 4 years. I went to the grocery store yesterday and got a few breakfast items, and the cost came up to $60, which just feels insane. In this video, I'll go over the exact reason why the price of groceries has skyrocketed and if this is going to continue or if the grocery prices are going to go back to what we know and remember. First, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll go ahead and jump into the video right now. According to officialdata.com, if your grocery bill in 2020 was $60, then it would have increased to almost $75 in 2024. If on average you spent in 2020 $600 on groceries and a monthly budget, then that would have increased to $750. This is a drastic increase, especially when people's wages are not increasing that fast. If you work a corporate job, then you might have a standard COLA increase or cost of living increase of about 1 to 3% every single year. When the cost of groceries is accelerating at a 5.09% clip, that means that you have a lot less money left in your budget at the end of the month. I'm speaking from experience with a 3% cost increase from my corporate job. Some companies don't even do this, so it really just leaves it up to you as the consumer to eat that cost increase and forcing you to put less money away into savings or even making it almost impossible to make ends meet. According to the US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the cost of groceries have increased by 21.95% in 2020. Now, the reason for this can be for a variety of reasons, but most point towards the pandemic to blame. Pandemic caused supply chain issues, labor shortages, as well as higher wages. When you're dealing with supply chain issues, this has a direct effect on prices. High-level overview of this is due to more people needing the items that are for sale, and there's not enough items to meet that said demand. So, or the supplier is trying to meet the standard profit margins to continue the actual operation. When they have less items to sell, then they need to sell the item at a higher cost to meet up that profit margin or to hit that profit margin. Additionally, when manufacturers are not able to meet the demand, then it causes them to seek out alternatives in production to actually meet that demand that can be more expensive and less efficient. When manufacturers endure higher costs, they pass those on to you as the consumer, making the cost of goods more expensive. This might be frustrating because you might be thinking, okay, why can't this billion-dollar corporation or manufacturer just eat the additional costs? Well, that might be a great idea on the surface level. They never will because they are a profit-driven company and they have shareholders that have goals of maximizing profits to keep the doors open and lights on. Now, that's for manufacturers, but what about fresh food? Well, fresh food shortages can be attributed to weather pattern changes. That can also impact prices for a similar reason. When farmers don't get the proper weather to grow their crops, then that impacts supply, which means there's less supply on the market being provided to you as the consumer, so they have to provide it to you at a higher cost to make up that difference once again. We're also seeing costs of groceries increase due to higher wages. Higher wages within factories increase the cost of operation, which means manufacturers need to make up the difference once again. This cost is then trickled down to you as the consumer, making your normal bag of chips that were $3 in 2020 now $4 or $5. As you can see, the cost increase is largely due to the residual effect of the pandemic. But will we ever see these grocery prices normalize or even decline back to what we were used to in 2020? Well, the good news is that even though prices have increased, the Federal Reserve is presently working to get that inflation down to the goal of 2%. By prices only increasing by a standard 2%, then that will now come back into line with the standard cost of living increase on wages. Other ways these prices could decrease is if AI and robots take over manufacturing lines and replace humans. That would also decrease overhead at manufacturers by cutting down the cost to operate through payment. I understand that's a double-edged sword and would be terrible for the actual factory workers, but I wonder if the savings would be then passed on to the buyers or consumers as a result. Additionally, we could also see a decrease in prices if we have some good stretches of weather that yield ample crops or new technology to improve supply chain efficiencies. By improving efficiency, it would allow manufacturers to pump out more product in less time, which would then flood the markets with more supply than the demand is needed. So by having more supply and less demand, we'll have the opposite effect where prices will decrease accordingly. Groceries have become a luxury as the cost to buy food has gotten so expensive that people are forced to go to discount grocery stores and grocery chains to save some money. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go ahead and drop a comment down below on some ways that you are saving money on groceries that might be helpful to others. Thank you for watching the video. Once again, go ahead and check out one of my other videos over here.